So, New Orleans Saints wide receiver Chris Olave's name has been centered around a lot of trade rumors, and despite him having multiple drops throughout the last couple of weeks, here's why I believe trading him would be a bad idea. On Sunday, Chris Olave made headlines after dropping what could have been the Saints' game-winning touchdown against the New England Patriots, which led to a lot of fans calling for him to be traded, which is something I don't agree with at all. First, trading Chris Olave will ultimately shut the door on developing Spencer Rattler, because trading your young QB, who you're trying to develop's favorite target, would be detrimental to his career. Also, even despite Olave's struggles, he still played solid over the last couple of weeks and even had a solid game against the New England Patriots, catching 6 passes for 98 yards and even had a 50-plus yard catch on the first play of the game. And now, even with that detrimental drop, I do believe a lot of fans are going overboard with the quote-unquote hate of Chris Olave right now, and I've seen a lot of that on my TikTok, and I do want to respond to a comment. This comment says, were the Saints better for shipping Graham? Yes. Were the Saints better for shipping Cooks? Yes. Will the Saints be better for shipping Olave? Yes. Now here's where I 100% disagree with that take. First, when the Saints traded Jimmy Graham, they were still chronic losers, going 7-9 for 2 straight seasons even after trading the greatest tight end in their franchise's history. Yes, trading Brandon Cooks ultimately did lead to the New Orleans Saints having a winning record the next year, but I think comparing that to potentially trading Chris Olave is just asinine, considering that Brandon Cooks had a receiver who at the time had the greatest rookie wide receiver season in New Orleans Saints history and Michael Thomas behind him, and if you trade Chris Olave, the best receiver behind him is a Rashid Shaheed, who's never had more than 700 plus yards in his career. And I don't think it's fair to compare that to trading Chris Olave, especially considering that at that time, the New Orleans Saints had a Hall of Fame head coach and a top quarterback in the NFL in Drew Brees that was able to carry that franchise out of the gutter, which they don't have now, having a second-year quarterback in Spencer Rattler and having a rookie head coach in Kellen Moore. So those conversations shouldn't be had because there's no comparing that to now. And what a lot of people don't get, instead of trading Chris Olave, how about you just build alongside him? We all know, nobody have to tell me, we all know Chris Olave is not a wide receiver 1. I've never argued that in my life. He's always been a wide receiver 2. He wasn't even a wide receiver 1 at Ohio State, being paired next to Garrett freaking Wilson. So how about fans, instead of trying to put the guy down every chance y'all get, how about y'all ask for the Saints to get a guy alongside him that can actually work with them and build a receiving core instead of trading a guy, having to start all over, and probably having Devon Vele and Jalen Polk as your receiver 1 next year, because I don't think you resign Rashid Shaheed, and trading Chris Olave right now just wouldn't be a smart thing to do.